Hey guys, it's Danny. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a different kind of video for you. I've made videos about my anxiety in the past, but I've never published an anxiety attack or a panic attack or it actually happening to me. But I figured by doing that, it will raise awareness. It will make people feel hopefully less alone, because when you have anxiety, you will feel very alone at times. And just kind of furthering the education of what anxiety is, and it's not always what you think it might look like. It comes in so many different forms and you might not even know that someone's having an anxiety attack, and they are. So let's just get into the videos, and I'll play them back to back so you can see everything. Yeah. If you like this video, if you found it helpful, please like it, subscribe to this channel for more videos, share it with your friends if you want, and let's roll the tape. Or should I say tapes, because there's quite a few.
A lot of the times when I'm anxious, it's triggered by a feeling inside my body. I would say like 80%, maybe 75% of the time. That's what triggers my anxiousness. Like if I feel something, like my tummy feels weird or my head feels weird, then I just start going nuts, thinking something's gonna happen to me. I'm gonna get sick, I'm gonna throw up because I'm a metaphobic, or I think that I'm gonna pass out. So it definitely cuts time out of my life when I have to just stop and like do this.
High levels of anxiety when you're driving definitely sucks. Oh God, I heard that if you clench all your muscles so everything's really tight, and then you let it go, it's supposed to help if you're really tense. So Hobby Lobby kind of distracted me for a little bit, but now I'm driving again, and I literally haven't been this way in
exit right
over 2 years, probably, here and there. It's been a while since I've had anxiety that lasts this long in a day. So if you want another tip, I guess, then it's cold here in New York, so I have the heat on, but I have the window open at the same time, and it just helps when you feel like you need a little air, or like what feels like what's happening with me right now is like I can't breathe and I'm claustrophobic no matter where I am. So having the window open gives you a sense that there's a way out, because I'm going to squeeze through that window, right? So living with panic disorder and anxiety disorder, it's definitely like a good day, bad day type of lifestyle. Obviously this was more on, I wouldn't say the bad days, but it was a tougher day, and I've had obviously like 10 times worse panic attacks where I'm out of control and pacing and can't sit still, or I'm crying and I can't even leave the house. And I was able to leave the house, but that's because I've come a long way. So let me just start you off from the beginning, the history of my anxiety. In preschool, I was a very, very shy kid. I wouldn't talk. My teachers didn't think that I could actually speak. They thought I had maybe hearing impairment. So my mom had to record me at home talking up a storm, not being shy to talk in front of people at all, just to prove to them and say, look, she doesn't shut up at home, but she won't talk in class because she's really shy. So I had this just, I guess, social anxiety from the start, and just like general like childish, very, very, very shyness. And I would actually just never even speak in that class. The only time I ever spoke was when we had to sit in a circle and tell each other, well, tell the teacher what we wanted, chocolate milk or regular milk for lunch that day. Every single day, I would go to the back of the room with one girl that I guess I trusted, but I definitely didn't even talk to her. She wasn't even my friend. And I'd whisper in her ear chocolate milk every single day. And then we'd go back and sit in the group, and when every other kid would say it out loud, this girl had to say my choice for me because I wouldn't say it out loud. So I was a very shy kid, preschool. Kindergarten came around. I had a really good kindergarten teacher who worked with me one-on-one, and I would get stickers every time that I would answer a question or talk back or make some kind of small little improvement. And I slowly started coming out of my shell, and I would say I wasn't fully out of my shell until about high school. I was always kind of on the shy side, but I did make friends, and middle school I had friends, boyfriends, and whatever. So high school comes around. I'm starting to really feel the symptoms of anxiety. Now, I've had this anxiety my whole life because my father has it. He's passed it down to my sister and I. We both have the same type of anxiety. It's all the same. And for family trips, I live on Long Island, so going upstate a few hours, like 4 or 5 hours, I'd be sitting on my feet the whole time. I'd be tense. I'd be anxious. I generally just didn't want to travel. I've still never been on an airplane. So I've been an anxious kid, and then high school came around and my anxiety kind of started blowing up. Puberty, all that stuff, I guess, I don't know. But I would skip my classes and I would sit in the bathroom for whole periods at a time. Sometimes I would have a double period of a subject and I'd sit in the bathroom the whole time, just sit in the stall or sit in the mirror and just like play with my hair or write in a book or something. And I didn't even know why. Like this whole time I didn't know I had anxiety. Nobody told me what it was. It was just terrifying. I don't know why I felt scared. I didn't know why I didn't want to get up and go to school in the morning. My mom would wrestle me to go to school, and I would actually sometimes pretend like I went on the bus, and then we lived by a strip mall, so instead of going on the bus, I would just go walk through and sit in front of Macy's before it even opened and just sit there by myself. I would walk home from cosmetology school, which I had in the mornings, and then the rest of the day for junior and senior year of high school, I would go back to the high school. But instead of walking back to the high school, going on the bus back to the high school, I would go walk from one town 2 towns over to where I lived. It would be a 2-hour walk home just so I didn't have to go to school. And I was being put in suspension, and I wasn't being treated like I had anxiety because I didn't know myself, and no one dug for that. Like my guidance counselor, they all thought I was a bad kid that was just skipping classes and all that. But it ended up being that I didn't know why I was scared to go to class. Like I just had anxiety, and I just could not sit in that classroom and not be able to get up. I felt trapped, I think, and it was definitely a rough time. And I ended up being put in night school for senior year, which was great because it was only a fraction of the hours of a regular school day, and it was such a smaller group, and they worked with you one-on-one, and it was like just so much less pressure and anxiety. And I still had it, but it was enough for me to be able to graduate and actually learn a lot. I learned a lot in the classes that I took in night school, and I did very well. Also in high school, I was sexually harassed, and I never really spoke up about it until after high school. I've just told a few people about what happened, and at the time I just thought these were my friends and they were joking and they were just being silly when they would credit card me and they would grab my butt or like grab my boobs or pull my pants down when I'm wearing a thong in the hallways, just touching me when they shouldn't have been. So I didn't even know at the time, but that was probably adding on to it. But I'm digressing right now. That's definitely something for maybe another video in the future. So after high school, obviously my life has been different than a lot of other people's because of the panic disorder hitting so hard the year I graduated. My first real panic attack, I was rushed to the hospital because I thought I was having a heart attack. A lot of people think that they're having heart attacks when they're having an anxiety attack, and they don't know what's going on because everything feels, it really does feel like that because your heart's racing, you're clammy, you're really dizzy, you feel like you're gonna throw up. My jaw was completely clenched and locked, and I didn't know what it was like to have a panic attack. No one told me that I had anxiety. So, rushed to the hospital, and it was a reaction from the birth control I was on called Loestrin. I have a video, I will leave it linked up above for you to check out. It was a bad reaction. That birth control gave me a lot of symptoms of heightened anxiety, so that led to my first panic attack. After that first panic attack, I developed my panic disorder because I kept having repeated panic attacks for absolutely no reason just because of the first panic attack. So when you have panic disorder, you just go into a situation where maybe you got anxious, and just going to that, say you got anxious in a classroom, a specific classroom, science class, whatever. Next time you go to science class, you have a panic attack, even though there's nothing wrong triggering it. It's the thing that's triggering it is because you're in the same place that you had a panic attack before, because your brain will be like a filing cabinet, and it'll pull files and it'll just tell you to panic, like you're the car on the block that its alarm system goes off just by a breeze of wind. And that's kind of what it's like to have panic disorder. That whole year of, I think it was 2010, after getting off birth control, which I was only on for a week, I dealt with probably one of the worst bouts of just panic attacks, because I didn't know what was happening. Because even at the hospital, they didn't say you're having a panic attack. They're just like, it's a drug reaction. So I just kept thinking, it's just me coming off the drug. I was just, wherever I ended up for the night, hanging out with people, I would rush home, speeding home with my heart pounding, and I just felt like just total doom. Like it would just hit me randomly for no reason. And these were just all over the place. I'd wake up in the middle of the night gasping for air, and I couldn't breathe, and I couldn't sleep. And this led to agoraphobia. A bunch of other things happened. I'll get into more of my fears, my phobias in another video, but I ended up being agoraphobic in around 2013 to the beginning of 2015, I would say it pretty much ended. And that's, if you don't know what that means, it's basically a fear of leaving your house. I was also having lots of digestion issues. I was super sick. I was having headaches every day, and I couldn't keep a regular job at all due to the panic attacks. I was nannying for 3 girls, which they were awesome. If you're watching these videos, you guys ruled, and I didn't know how bad my anxiety was then, but it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. I was taking Advil every single day to combat these headaches, and I was just worrying and stressing over things that I didn't need to. And I do this every day of my life still now, but I'm just a little better at coping with it because of time. So I was taking Advil every day. I was going to work, and then when I got home from work, all I would do is worry about the next day of work. Worry. So I wasn't really even getting any like free time or like relaxation time at all. Like I was just tense, uptight at all times. And I was basically sick all the time. Taking Advil every day led to me getting stomach ulcers. Then I changed my diet around completely. I went vegetarian, and I started eating more primarily plant-based diet, which honestly, highly recommend. Not trying to push you on anything, but if you have anxiety, eating right is a huge thing. And once I changed my diet, that changed so much, just so much. Time does the most of it. Coping mechanisms do a lot. But I will say that eating a better diet with not a lot of high sugars or refined sugars and crap and processed foods definitely help calm me down a lot. And there's a lot of foods that you can eat to calm you down. Maybe I'll make another video about foods for anxiety or something like that. But I changed my diet around a lot. So from 2015 to around now, I've gotten better and better at taking baby steps, using coping skills, and honestly, time is a desensitizer for anxiety. It's still gonna be hard. I'm still not able to have a regular job. And I urge you to work at your own pace with anxiety. That's a huge thing, is people around you who love you wanna see you get better really fast. But if they're not you, they're not in your body dealing with exactly what you feel, they can't do it. You have to do it at your own pace, because you'll scare yourself into going back into your little hole. So work at your own pace. I've gotten better. Time is really a great desensitizer, because after so many years of feeling it, you're like, I felt this before, this happened here before, like I was fine, I ended up being fine. And as long as you keep pushing yourself, you'll get more experiences where you'll prove to your stupid anxiety brain, not saying you're stupid, but the anxiety that's telling you that something's wrong when nothing's wrong at all, you're proving to that you're fine, and that it's happened before, you've done this before, and you've been fine. And say the experiences where it didn't go so well, you had an anxiety attack, but you didn't die. You know, you're never gonna die from anxiety attack. You kind of have to look at more the positive side, and it's really hard when you're going through a dark age like I was, but I'm coming through, and you will too. Taking those baby steps and working at your own pace is a huge strengthening technique, because it allows you to have power and control, and when you have anxiety, you don't feel like you're in control at all. So you having the choice to say, I'm gonna try to do this today. If I don't do it, I'm gonna try it again another day. Take all the pressure off of yourself. Don't let anyone put the pressure on you. And that's the best way to cope with anxiety without drugs and help yourself progress. For example, I used to not be able to drive to the grocery store, like I said. Now I'm able to take a 3-4 hour day trip one way and still come home the same day. I may only be able to travel and do that with my boyfriend with me because he has anxiety and he's very understanding. He's just amazing for the support he gives me with my anxiety, but I wasn't always able to do that. You know, I worked up to that. I went an hour drive for a day trip, then I went from doing an hour to a 2-hour drive, staying wherever I was overnight, and then breaking it up by driving 2 hours back home the next day, so it wasn't 4 hours in one trip. Then just working it up. You're building confidence by doing these things. Having someone who understands you and is kind of like a safe person is good, but it's also bad because you can rely too much on them. So you have to try to control that a little bit. You know, I've definitely become a lot more independent than I was a few years ago. It's actually crazy, but having someone, say if you have anxiety traveling like I do, someone who understands you makes you feel so much better. You know, just knowing that when you feel anxious, you don't have to be afraid to speak up about it, and they will pull over for you, and you trust them, and you know that they're gonna take care of you, God forbid anything happens. You know, just knowing that you have this safe person that makes you feel better will be a great tool, but you can also bring whatever makes you feel comfortable along with you. I like taking mints, I like taking toothpicks, ginger if I get a little motion sick or nauseous, and anything that makes you feel at home or comfortable. Like, don't be afraid. Like my bag and my sister's bags, when we go to concerts, it's like peppermint oil, water, like toothpicks, mints, and we like help each other out. And just honestly, 2 siblings having anxiety is a curse, but also a blessing, because thank God I've had her here my whole life to understand me and to understand each other, because wrapping this all up is like, you just never want to feel alone when you have anxiety, and I want you all to know that you are not alone, and that someone like me, who's come such a long way from not even being able to leave my room sometimes, I know how it feels. We all will find our own ways. That just all comes in time, and it's all about taking control and not masking it with drugs, because that may work wonderfully for some people, maybe for their whole life. It's not for me though, because I just feel like it's a snowball effect, and the best coping skills are right here. Not in a pill, they're right here. I'm not gonna stop trying, and you shouldn't stop trying either, so make sure to like this video if you liked it, subscribe to my channel for more videos, and if you found this helpful, then share it with a friend and let them know that it's all good. Anxiety sucks, but it's what it is. I'll see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. Real quick, before I go, I just want to let you guys know that my boyfriend actually made a Instagram support group, and if you want to follow it, I will leave it right here. It is Express Your Depression on Instagram, and feel free to DM him and submit a photo and a story or whatever you want to write, and he will post it. So yeah.